The Final Four, man. Are you ready for it? Because I'm not, to be honest with you. So I figured I needed to gather my thoughts to go into these Champions League semifinals with total clarity. And what better way to do so than with some match guides and a couple predictions along the way. What's up? I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and as per usual, we're going to be doing some Champions League watch-alongs for every single match next week. So you don't want to miss that. And to ensure you don't miss that, just hit that subscribe button. Okay, let's start with Bayern versus Real Madrid, an absolute classic European matchup. And if you synthesize the European Cup and the Champions League eras into one, these teams have met each other 11 times in the knockout rounds, with Madrid edging Bayern with 6 wins. Most recently, Real has beaten Bayern in the semifinals of the 2013-14 season 5-0 on aggregate, and then last season when Real won 6-3 on aggregate. Their last meeting had a little bit of controversy, with a couple of goals that were a little controversial, as I said, and perhaps Bayern had the right to feel a little bit hard done by with regards to certain calls, but the better team did still advance, at least in my opinion, as Real Madrid showed throughout the tournament last year. That aside, because we're not talking about last year, let's see how these two teams got to this point. You could argue that Bayern has had the easier route, as they were drawn with Besiktas in the first round, whom they dispatched of easily, 8-1 on aggregate. Then, in the quarterfinals, as tricky as Sevilla may have been for United, Bayern should have been winning that tie any day of the week. And they did, thanks to a 2-1 win in Seville and a 0-0 draw in Munich. Not overly convincing, but a pass is a pass. Madrid, on the other hand, drew PSG in the round of 16, and despite PSG causing problems in the first leg, Madrid pulled off a professional 3-1 win. And in the second, with Neymar out injured, a 2-1 scoreline was enough for a 5-2 aggregate win. The quarterfinals leg 1 against Juve was a barn burner, with Ronaldo and co stomping Juve in their own stadium, 3-0. But in the second leg, it was Juve's turn, as they did the 3-0 stomping, but went out due to a penalty awarded in the 90th minute. Super rough. I won't get into the penalty call because I have pretty much an entire video dedicated to that, but let's just say that match showed that Real Madrid are not invincible. Either team could have gotten through that matchup, but people tend to downplay Madrid getting through, as if the first leg dominance didn't happen at all. But regardless, let's look at this matchup. What's nice about these semifinals is that for the most part, every team can focus solely on the Champions League. In regards to these two, Bayern has already wrapped up the league title. And Madrid, well, they're 15 points behind Barca, and if you ask me, I wouldn't advise betting money on them catching Barca. Granted, Bayern does have the DFB Pokal to worry about, but that's in a long time. So anyway, we can expect these teams to go all in at this point with 100% focus on the competition, and it should be pretty damn good. Bayern will want redemption for last season, as their social media posts and the sentiment from fans is that they still have a chip on their shoulder and feel hard done by thanks to the refereeing a year ago. Real Madrid, while they won't have any revenge to exact on their opponents, they still have this special relationship with the Champions League that I don't quite seem to understand. There's some sort of intangible there. Even this season, where domestically they have struggled at times, they tend to reserve their best for this competition. And part of that, or perhaps even most of it, could be down to Cristiano Ronaldo, a guy who has scored 22 goals in his last 12 matches alone for Real Madrid. A guy who has scored 20 goals in 2018 alone in La Liga. His resurgence in form is Real Madrid's resurgence in form. His success brings Madrid success. In Bayern's case, while they may not have a player of Ronaldo's stature, they still have a killer striker in Robert Lewandowski. Arjen Robben and Ribéry have been rolling back the years lately, and James Rodriguez has been looking like the World Cup 2014 James Rodriguez. Remember him? James has flourished in Bavaria, earning the regular playing time he was never awarded under Zidane. While suffering through a couple of injuries, he has been involved in 16 goals in this Bundesliga campaign. He hasn't had a massive influence in the Champions League, but you can bet he'll relish the opportunity to one-up his old teammates. He really wants that permanent deal, and he could be influential in this match, thanks to the chip on the shoulder that he and the rest of his teammates will have for one reason or another. As for their manager, Jupp Heynckes, he's a bit of a Champions League legend, and his prowess in this competition has been a bit understated. He won the competition back in 1998 while managing Real Madrid. And every single season he has managed a Champions League team, he hasn't failed to make the final, winning it on 2 occasions. So in total, these two teams have played each other 24 times at all stages of the Champions League. The most two teams have faced each other in this competition, and it couldn't be tighter. 11 wins apiece, 2 draws, 36 goals scored by Bayern, and 37 scored by Real Madrid. And I expect nothing less from this match. Bayern will want to impose themselves in the first leg at home, but will have to be wary of what Real Madrid did to PSG and Juve when they played away. In fact, Real has scored in each of their 5 away matches in the competition this season, winning 4 out of those 5 matches. For me, they'll get a score draw away against Bayern, and that goal plus the form of Ronaldo is enough for me to say that Madrid will go through 3-2. Damn if it isn't going to be close though. Okay, the other semi-final sees Liverpool going up against Roma, 2 teams who, like I said earlier, won't be contending for their domestic title at this point, so we can expect 2 teams fully focused on old big ears. I'm talking about the trophy, by the way, that wasn't a dig at any of the players. And so, let's look at how these 2 teams got to the Final Four of this very competition. Roma were handed a pretty tough group from the outset, as they were drawn alongside Atletico Madrid and Chelsea, and while they were unable to beat Atletico with a loss and a draw, they were able to get the best of Chelsea with a 3-3 draw and a 3-0 win at home. In the round of 16, they were drawn against Shakhtar, and while they lost 2-1 away, they brought it home for the second leg and won 1-0 to go through on away goals. In the quarterfinals, everyone thought they were goners, including myself, as they drew FC Barcelona, the same FC Barcelona that to this day is undefeated in La Liga, whose only blip this season was a Copa del Rey loss, if you don't count the Spanish Super Cup, which I don't because preseason Super Cups and Community Shields are glorified friendlies, if you ask me. And what did they do? After going down 4-1 at the Camp Nou, as the commentator said, the Eternal City rose from the ashes, playing a near perfect match and winning 3-0 at home against Barcelona to go through on away goals, against FC Barcelona. The same FC Barcelona team that's unbeaten to this day in La Liga. The same Barcelona that until that point hadn't lost a single match in the Champions League. That had only conceded 3 goals in the Champions League before Roma put 3 past them in 90 minutes. The same Yeah, but I'm filming. Okay, one sec. I'm really sorry, super unprofessional I know, but I promise I will finish this preview. Just give me 1 sec. To make it up for you, I have a couple of buddies that definitely know a thing or two about calcio. Marco, Mikey, can you cover me for 1 sec?
What's up, Adrian and Rabona TV? IOTV here right now. I know you asked us what we thought about Roma and Liverpool. And listen, Roma, nobody thought Roma was gonna make it this far into the Champions League. It was so scary against Barcelona, but with heart and with a lot of sacrifice, they were able to pull off the impossible.
And Salah, an old guest that I think Roma's defense knows how to handle.
I know, I hope. Listen, if Roma can pull it off against Barcelona, they can pull it off against anyone. And the good thing about Roma is that their goalkeeper is one of the best in the world. Definitely the best in Serie A at the moment. Yeah. He's like on insane form. Their defense is super solid. They held at home.
They left Barcelona on 0.
Exactly.
They don't let Barcelona score, get a really
Their midfield
chance.
is one of the best in Italy. Nainggolan puts in so much work. De Rossi, Strootman, yeah. They all balance out each other so good. And then their attack is all right.
The thing is, Dzeko is pretty. If Dzeko's having an off night, I feel like Liverpool fans are gonna be happy. But if Dzeko's on his night, he knows how to score for any game. I think, right?
We don't know too much about Liverpool, so bear with us, Adrian. We're gonna have to check out this preview, and we want to hear what you say about Liverpool. We don't know that much. We know Salah from his time in Italy, and I'm hoping Michael's boy Manolas, the Greek, comes in clutch.
You gotta keep him quiet, right?
And hopefully they know Salah from what he did in Italy. But I think that this is gonna be an incredible match. The 2 most even teams draw up together in the Champions League. If there's one thing Roma's gotta do, it's to believe.
And winner goes to the final.
Let's go!
Hey, thanks boys. Shout out to Italian Football TV, Marco, Mikey. Thanks for looking after my audience for me while I was away. And there's a couple of things that I really liked that you said there. 1, Roma kept Barcelona off the score sheet at home. In fact, they have kept every single team that has come to the Stadio Olimpico in this Champions League season off of the score sheet. They haven't conceded at home once. The Stadio Olimpico has been a fortress. It's been Fort Knox impenetrable. 2, part of that reason is, as they said, they have one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now in Alisson Becker. There's no wonder why this guy is so sought after, even by Roma's opponents in the semis, Liverpool. Because performance-wise, this season, he's been up there with De Gea and Jan Oblak for sure. And another thing, Dzeko. Of course, we have to talk about Dzeko. Can you believe that he played in England for 4.5 seasons? And while he only scored 3 goals against Liverpool in 11 matches, if you were looking for a striker who could easily handle the physicality of Lovren and Van Dijk, it would be Edin Dzeko. Not to mention, he's been involved in 8 goals in 10 Champions League appearances this season. And if he is on his game, he can turn this tie on its head, just as he did against Barcelona, just as he did against Shakhtar. He's been decisive this season in the Champions League. Another guy who's been decisive, an old friend, Mohamed Salah, the player who really established himself in Italy during his time with AS Roma, and who was bought by Liverpool for an initial 42 million euros, which at the time was a club record. And to say he's been a good investment so far would be a total understatement. Salah has scored 8 goals and assisted twice in his 10 appearances in the Champions League. Couple that with his 30 goals and 9 assists from 32 appearances in the Premier League, and the fact that he's been involved in 14 goals in his last 10 appearances, and it's safe to say that he's coming into this match in white-hot form. And it's not as though Liverpool is a one-man team. Throughout this Champions League campaign, whether it was navigating the group stage against the likes of Sevilla and Spartak, or coasting through their round of 16 matches against FC Porto, or completely dispatching of Manchester City, Jurgen Klopp has this team operating like a well-oiled machine. Marco and Mikey said that I would tell you guys about him, and I will. Every position from the goalkeeper to the newly cohesive backline with standout performances from youngsters Trent Alexander-Arnold and the emergence of stability and organization thanks to Virgil van Dijk. To the midfield, where Jordan Henderson has come into his own as the Liverpool captain, where Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is finally living up to the potential that's haunted him since he was 16, to Milner, of all people, who is the assist leader in the Champions League as a whole. And then of course there's the front line, where Mane has the capacity to burn even the most light-footed of fullbacks, as well as the ability to smash it in from outside the box, or Firmino, who was written off as a solution to Liverpool's striker problem and has emerged as the perfect number 9 within Klopp's system, going shot for shot with Salah with 8 goals in the Champions League, and who's already scored twice as many goals as he did last season. At Liverpool, right now, everything just works, and they're truly terrifying. So, these two have met on 5 occasions in Europe, including the 1984 European Cup final that Liverpool won in a shootout, but overall, Liverpool just edges Roma with 2 wins to 1. Like Klopp himself said, quote, "If anybody thinks this is the easiest draw, then I cannot help this person. They obviously didn't see both games against Barcelona. And if you're AS Roma, you're going to want to watch both of Liverpool's games against Manchester United." He isn't taking Roma lightly, just as Barcelona shouldn't have. And like the IFTV boys said, it was an even draw. And as much as I want to believe in Roma along with the likes of Marco and Mikey, unfortunately, I think Liverpool is just too much right now. They completely dismantled Manchester City 5-1, the Premier League champions. And while I don't think Liverpool will win by that big of a margin against Roma, I see them going through 4-2. We will finally see the opposition score at the Olimpico in this one, even though it hurts me to say this. And that just about does it for my build-up and predictions for the Champions League semi-finals. Don't forget to leave your predictions in the comment section so I can see who you got, and make sure you go and check out Italian Football TV, both on YouTube and on Twitter. If you could only do one thing today, go follow these guys on Twitter, one of the best football accounts out there. And if you're Italian, boy, I don't know what excuses you have for not checking them out. Anyways, I'm Adrian. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to drop a like to let me know. And other than that, enjoy the matches, and I hope to see you during the watch-alongs. Later.